Hello, and thanks for joining me. Just wanted to jump on here and check in and, just continue on with this walk with me. One of the things I thought would be good to share today, the last video I kind of talked about ending the workday and sort of unwinding and letting us calm down after we've been beat up all day. Today I kind of want to talk about some of the things that I've been implementing around waking up. I think that going to bed and waking up, those are the very important parts of resting the body and giving the mind the peace that it needs throughout the night. And so some of the things that I've been doing are very simple. Setting the alarm clock a little bit early so that when it goes off, I don't have to jump up. Now, I've not always been good at this because I love the snooze button. And I am really good at hitting snooze and going back into a dead sleep. And so it's taken me a good bit of practice, and I'm still not great at it. But I'm getting into the habit that when the first alarm goes off, I sort of wake myself up just enough that I begin to become aware that it's almost time to get up. And, I will move around a little bit and get the blood flowing a little bit, just wiggling my fingers and toes and, stretching my shoulders and stretching my legs and arms and just reminding myself that it's almost time to get up. And then I will usually just lay and breathe and just try to be mindful. Sometimes I fall back asleep, but it's usually a pretty light sleep. And so when the clock goes off a second time, I then take a nice deep breath and I, try to find something that I'm looking forward to in the day, something that motivates me to want to get up and get moving. And, sometimes it's just the motivation is let's get it started so we can get through the part that's not the most fun part and on to, just getting home and moving through the day and the evening as I'd like. As I get up, I sit up and I give myself a minute. I put my feet on the floor and I take a couple deep breaths and I stretch a little more. And, sometimes I will be mindful enough to set a couple of intentions today for the day, like let's look for something to be grateful for, or let's get excited about this thing coming up, or can we notice this today? And just having some mindfulness around the day really seems to help. If there's something that I'm feeling anxious about, just taking a couple deep breaths around that and sort of noticing, asking myself, is there anything I can do to get more prepared? The next thing that I like to do is to go outside. Before I start getting dressed, before I start doing all these crazy things, just take a minute to step outside in the sun and just let all of that stuff that collected in my aura just clear, and let the sun just let me start the day without having to think too much. And it's usually a 3 to 5 minute thing, just long enough to let the dogs use the bathroom, and then it's time to get back in. The other thing that I've found very helpful is that I will pour a large glass of water, and the goal is to drink that water by the time I leave the house. Now for me, I am very unusual. Used to take me 3 minutes to get ready for work. I jumped out of the bed, I put the clothes on, and I ran out the door. That was my morning routine for almost 30 years. So 30 minutes is a lot of minutes for me to have in flexibility compared to the 3 minutes that I gave myself. And so I'm able to do a lot of things in that 30 minutes. Make sure that I have my lunch together, make sure that I have my water to take with me. Look around the house, make sure the lights are off, and just anything that might cause a problem later. Do I notice that? And can I take just a minute to fix that? Can I make sure that I have everything I need with me for the day? I try to be mindful and gather most things the night before, which is helpful, but I'm not always great at that. So it's just noticing. All of these little things, they just help me to wake up and get the day going. It also is helpful, later that I have lunch or that I have water or, those things just help the day go more smoothly. They help me feel more supported. Again, for me, these things fit into a 30-minute window. Occasionally, I have a little more time than that, but what I have found is if I give myself too much more time than that, I start going, you know what, I really just rather stay at home today. And so, again, it's know thyself. Some people need 5 minutes. Some people need 30 minutes. Some people need an hour. Figure out what it is for you that really works. I have found that my morning routine goes much better when I follow my bedtime routine, because then I'm well rested when I wake up and I'm able to move into the day. Mornings were always a hard thing for me. I was an angry morning person. I was angry to have to get up. I was angry at the things that I had to do. And of course, I only had 3 minutes to move into it. So, it was jump up, get ready, get going. Here you are. Now, that's that. And, the lack of processing, the amount of anxiety that just was created in those few minutes. And God forbid I couldn't find the keys or anything being off at all. That was going to cause a huge meltdown. What I've noticed in the last 6 months is I still don't love mornings. They're not my favorite time. Now, I enjoy mornings much more on mornings when I don't have to go to work. But I'm just still not a great morning person. However, not starting my day off at war with myself and with reality, which the fact is I have to get up and I have to get moving and I have to do the things that need to be done. And being at war with that does not affect me in a good way. And so just learning that, this is a part of the day. This is part of the routine. And being angry about it does not change it. Complaining about it does not change it. The best thing that I can do is prepare myself, have all of the things that are going to create comfort, and then do the best that I can to embrace the day. Again, this is not something that came with ease for me. It has taken a lot of practice. But I will say it has been worth it, and I continue to work on it. I hope that one day I will jump on here and say, you know what, I absolutely love mornings. For now, I'm just really, really happy to be able to embrace something that was just probably one of the worst wars of the day for me, just getting out of bed and getting started. And so I'm excited to share this with you. I hope that something I've said will pique your interest, will help you to begin to establish something for yourself. Be gentle. It doesn't have to be a regimen. It doesn't have to be forced. Be gentle with yourself. For years, I tried to force it and it just didn't work. I look forward to next time.